In today's video, I thought we would do a pick and gut on this Assa Ruko 2 closed shackle padlock. Really nice design. I do like these Ruko 2 padlocks. This one here was actually sent to me a couple of years ago by Assa, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, from the LPU Discord, the LPU Reddit. And he sent this one over to me because it's got a 500 core in it, which just means it's a 5-pin lock. But this one had the sleeved core, so what it means is the core or the plug has got this like an external sleeve over the top, so it's an older version, and they are a little bit more rare than the normal plugged Ruko 2s. Now, when he sent it over to me, and when I featured it in a video a couple of years ago, it came with barrel driver pins, and the barrel driver pins work with that sleeved core, but gin drivers also work with that exact same core as Yagi has told me. So what I thought I would do is I put gins in it, and it says on the tag there, look, gins and sleeved core. And we can try picking it again and see how we get on with it. Now, of course, we're going to need to employ a little bit of float picking, but we've only got 5 pins to worry about, and pin number 5 doesn't have any middle on it, so you've only got to worry about 4 pins to pick it open. Before we get to picking this lock, I wanted to give you a close-up of some of the components so you can see what it is I'm feeling for as I pick it. So this is a gin driver. If I take him out, the reason they're called gin pins is because they look a little bit like a gin bottle, I suppose, in that orientation. But in the lock, they're actually in this orientation. So this pin sits in there. We've got a key pin already in the lock. I'll just show you. I'll insert the correct key. There you go. All those pins are flush, and that core is able to turn. So our driver pin would sit above it, something like that. And the bottle, if you like, of that gin pin has got this little step in it, you can just see there. And that locks into our sleeved core. So you can just see on this chamber, for these first 2 chambers, 3rd chamber and the 4th chamber, we've got this kind of lip underneath. Just see it there. And what happens when we pick it, as we lift our pin up, that gin, the head of that gin, gets caught in that sleeve. So as we pick it, we lift these pins up, we get a slight turn of the core, and that is our full set, and that tells us that all of these gin pins have got the neck of the bottle of the gin caught in that undercut. So in order to release those, we can't push up because the pin is locked in there. So what we need to do is to counter rotate the plug, then lift the pin, and then reapply the clockwise rotation. That needs to be done with all of those pins, and then once you've done that, obviously the core can turn and we get the lock open. So I've got him secured in the vise, and the first thing I'm going to do is make a little mark. So I'm going to put a bit of tension on. I'm not going to put my pick in just yet, and I'm just going to run a line from the plug all the way out to the body of the lock. And that just gives me a little bit of a reference point as we go along. So the first thing to do is to get all of the heads of those gins up into that sleeve, up into that step, and we'll know when that happens because we'll get a full set, which is that slight turn on the core, and we'll see that when we're looking at this line, hopefully. So at this stage, it's just picking a normal lock. You're just feeling for stiff pins. And there we go. I think we just got our turn. You can see that that line that I drew on is now misaligned. Yeah. So the next stage is to pop a second tensioner in. And now with these 2 tensioners in a sort of opposing directions with my thumb and my finger, just gives me really good control of that core. And I've just got to make sure I don't rotate it too far back so that this line is aligned again, because that means that the pins we've just set are going to drop down. So now I'm feeling for it's kind of like feeling for stiff pins once again, and you just got to kind of bounce the pins quite a lot, and that helps to get those heads out the milling, as you saw in the beginning. The neck of that gin bottle pin just really bites into that sleeve. So in order to get it out, we bouncing. I think that was 3. That was 2. That was 1. So I think, is it just 3 or 4? Can't remember. Of course, we don't need to worry about pin 5 because there's no sleeve there, and I don't think there's any gym pin in there either. I think it's a standard pin in 5. Feels like we're almost there. And there we go. I think that was pin 4 I was on. And we got this one open. So we'll do a quick gut on this one. Now, when I gutted this in the last video, it was really difficult. I found it really difficult to get this out. So I think I was using my shim and trying to stick it under there. But someone in the comments said there's a much easier way to open these locks up. And what you do is you feel down there with your pick and you can feel a little spring. And if you push that down and pull that shackle out, it's just that easy. I think that took me a couple of minutes last time to get that done. And if we look down that hole, we have got a Phillips screw. And if we undo that, that core should come out. There it goes. Let me just, there we go. So I think we'll lock this up. And you don't have a proper clip on that, but you've just got this little sort of half brass clip at the back here. Lift that off and we should be good to go. Let me just find the keys. I will use a shim for this part. There we go, there's our sleeved core. You can see if I rotate it back, you can see where it's joined. It's got like a dovetail joint there clamped on the back. So we're not able to take that piece off. And you've got these, crimp marks there which hold it on to the plug itself. All standard pins down the bottom. And we'll just have a look up here at those gym pins. Really nicely machined pins, these gins. I do really like them. They are fun to pick. Sometimes they can be harder than others. I think this lock was a bit easier than other locks I've picked with these gym pins in them. Quickly go down the back, and I think, yeah, it's a standard pin in 5, because of course we don't have any milling or undercuts in position 5. And we should, there we go, got our last gin in there. So I'll give you a quick close up of those pins. There you go. So we've got our 4 gym pins at the top, 1 standard M5, and all the sort of standard key pins down the bottom. So it's a really fun lock to pick. I did enjoy picking this lock with the barrel drivers. I think I had more fun picking it with the gin drivers, so I'm probably going to leave it with the gin drivers in it because, yeah, really good fun to pick. Anyway, thanks for watching today, and I'll see you on the next one.